most times we are talking about preconception, we always consider the women every time, oh, the woman should do this, oh, the woman should do this and that. But where does the man come in? How do we convince a man to take care of his body? How do we convince a man to know what to do before he thinks about impregnating a woman? Joining me in studio now is Mr. Gordon. He's going to be telling us his experience as a father and talking about male involvement in preconception. Hello, Gordon, and welcome. This is Parenting Uncensored. So you get to say whatever you want anyone to hear, and don't feel shy about anything because we want people to know the truth out there. So tell me about the preconception. How do male people get involved in preconception?
Okay, my name is Gordon Munguriek. Yeah. And we're talking about preconception.
Yes.
And we want to know how men are involved in the preconception part of it. Like I said, a close experience would be beginning with me. Yeah. Before my wife conceived, we sat down and we agreed on certain things to do before she goes into conception. And what we agreed on at that time was some tests. Like, we need to know our status, you know. She was okay with it, which we did. But I got to realize that it needed not only to be a blood test, like a single test. That is when I got more involved in the advice I got medically from the doctors, the specialists, you know, because you agree with me that many times men think it's you only need to test your blood, and if it's okay, yeah, let's go ahead. But it's more than that. And going down the road, you realize it's more than that. You know, you're going to not only test for HIV, there are other STDs besides HIV, and you're also going to look at the pattern of health in the lineage of perhaps your wife or mine, you know. Talking about hereditary circumstances like sickle cells, you know, some of the things. Many men take these things lightly, and I feel it's very, very important to consider this. Reason being, in the course, you know, it's not about conception alone, because you're going to realize you have enrolled into the bigger picture of responsibility. And so when you get to discover certain things which you didn't talk about before conception, maybe if you had realized it before conception, you would interrogate it, dissect it, and get to know how to carry on with it. But because you never talked about it, you only considered one thing, and that was enough to give you, to flag you off. So it becomes a problem when you're trying to now to settle. You now have this baby, you know, and you're trying to take your responsibility as a father to bring up this child well. But because there is something that you've discovered in the course that you never talked about before, somehow it has disturbed your minds. So it becomes hard to connect certain things. And it has a great impact in the life of the kids, you know. It also it begins to distance the tight bond you had before. And if you're not careful, you may take radical decisions, you know. So getting involved into the things as men, to consider a number of things, not looking at only one thing and that's enough, because, you know, we are deceived. You have the money, okay, let's get the baby, we shall buy this, shall buy that, and you think that's it, you know. Yeah, but it's more than that. There are more sensitive things that we have to take into consideration to have a healthy growth as a family.
I know it's very, very hard to have men involved in preconception.
Yeah.
Many times I think men would have children, even like countless children, without trying to know who the mother was or what night was it, or okay, which district was it. But then for a man to confidently get up and say, I'm going to be involved in this with my partner.
Yeah.
You want to have children with me? I need to know if you're healthy, if I'm healthy. How was it for you to decide to be involved as a gentleman? Because it's so hard to even tell a man, honey, let's go and do sperm count. Okay, or maybe you're done with the problem, or I'm done with the problem. These things are very sensitive topics to talk about. You as a man, how did you decide and say, okay, fine, it's not just about the woman, okay, carrying a baby for me. It's about both of us having a healthy child and going through this parenting journey together. Explain to me as a man, how did you get the confidence to even say, with my partner, let's go to hospital and have these blood tests?
Well, you see, it's very important to note that every time you think about a woman conceiving, you must have a vision, you know. If you're not visionary, yeah, you're going to hide certain things because your vision is erratic, perhaps. But if it is not, then you should do what you're supposed to do as a man, and you should let the woman interpret this vision. You get to know that we are in this thing together, and we are heading somewhere. So if we've decided to take on this journey, we all know where we want to be, then we have to take the things that accompanies this journey. We have to do the necessary tests. I don't need to wait for my wife to tell me so, you know. I should tell her, she should tell me. We all take the responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's the two of you in the equation. If a man is not involved, at the end of the day, you might lose out, or you might get a sick child, or you might mess up, and at the end of the day, you might make bad decisions like divorcing or breaking up because you didn't do a simple checkup and you missed something along the way. I believe male involvement in preconception is very important because then you're together on this journey. But nothing will get off you if you went for a blood test with your partner, okay? Like you won't become less of a man if you knew your sperm count, because that way you know if you love your partner and your sperm count is low, maybe you could find means of how you're going to conceive a child. Probably the doctor helping you through it, or even your partner knowing your problems so they can help you through this journey together. I believe male involvement is important in preconception, and that's why I'm going to get a little bit deeper in this with Dr. Nsubuga. Dr. Nsubuga, tell me, what is so important that a man should be involved in preconception?
Thank you very much. You see, this journey of having a baby, the head of this whole project is the man, ideal. So the man should take charge. And as men, I want to encourage you, don't be part of the 4 out of 10, where babies happen when we have not planned them. The first step is that we should plan. We should be deliberate about having children. Now, after being deliberate about having children, we've agreed with our partners that now, you know what, my wife, time to have children. Let's work there. And even if you've had children before with the same wife, if you want to have another child, still walk to the doctor, because your physical state, your health state 4 years before, when you had your firstborn, may not be the same state. So why is it important for us men to be part of this? Number one, our women need support. We need to support them. They need to feel like we are part of this project. That's number one. Number two, we need to have healthy children. And what's our role in this? Take an example. If I'm a man who drinks alcohol heavily, if I'm a heavy smoker, this impact on the quality of our sperms. So if preconception, we go to the doctor and the doctor finds out, oh, my wife drinks and I also drink alcohol heavily, then we are advised that in the next 3 months, man, we need to tone down so that we get good quality sperms, good quality eggs, you know. So preconception, that's what we say, it's tailored to the couple. All the tests are done. For example, if I'm a man and I have a sexually transmitted infection and I'm going to give it to my wife, if we go preconception, this is treated and my wife is treated and we are going to have a healthy child. So our decisions should be deliberate about having children. Let's go and our health status is assessed. There are those things that we may be involved in that affect our health, but also the health of our children. We are able to modify them before we conceive. But most of all, our women need the support. During pregnancy, before pregnancy, at childbirth. Making this a bit less serious of medical. A man who was part of this journey before conception, during conception, and after conception will easily pay school fees because they know where this child is coming from. They know where the journey started from. If I go preconception and I'm told that pregnancy looks like this, the woman will vomit, the woman will ask for chicken today, you bring it, she says no, now I want yam. So I'm ready for that journey. So when I bring it and she says no, you brought the chicken, no, I said yams, I don't slap her. I understand it's pregnancy, it's not her. I will be able to learn as a man that, you know what, during pregnancy, my wife probably will need more time, more rest, so I'll need to support her, clean the house, wash the dishes while she's pregnant. It's difficult to learn them during pregnancy. It's easier to learn them pre-conception. It's also better to learn that during labor, this is how labor will look like. This is what it will require. You know, these are the things that should happen. This is how the lady prepares herself. These things are best learned before actually the lady conceives. So we have a big role as men. As men, let's walk outside there, be deliberate about having children, make that decision in capital letters with your wife, say, let's have a child in the next 6 months. Walk to the doctor, ask the doctor, what do we need to do? And the doctor will walk us through this. And it will be very nice if we understand those before conception, such that during conception, life is smooth. Maybe let me squeeze in another thing. Another big thing here is domestic violence. Now, domestic violence actually is causing more troubles, more injuries, and more dangers to the pregnancy. Why? Because we get into the pregnancy without understanding what it is. So preconception also addresses that. When you come and we counsel you through how a woman should feed during pregnancy, how we should handle them, even if she annoys you when she's pregnant, you remember that I was told a pregnant woman, they don't kick, they don't beat, they will just walk away. So it's very important. Men, let's be deliberate about this.
Dr. Nsubuga, I need you to tell me though, what tests are done for a man preconception?
Thank you very much. Now, when a man and a woman decide that they want to conceive, there are those tests that are similar between a man and a woman. For example, we screen for sexually transmitted infections. We screen for conditions that we may have adopted genetically from our parents, like sickle cell. Okay? We modify the lifestyle, like I talked about substance abuse. If I'm using substances like alcohol, like marijuana, then I'm able to put it on hold or even quit before conceiving. Blood groups are important. If my partner has a certain blood group that is going to have impact on the pregnancy, even the man's blood group comes into play somehow, okay? Because the children I'm going to produce will have my blood group, and if for some reason, if the baby has a blood group like the father and the mother has a certain other blood group, certain precautions need to be taken during pregnancy. So blood group, we test for those sickle cell, we test for HIV, hepatitis B, sexually transmitted infections. I had you hint about the sperm analysis.
Yeah, the sperm count.
Should the man be checked his sperm count before conceiving? This is interesting. It's not going to be a routine that we shall always check the man's sperm quality and count before conceiving. However, we are going to advise the man when he comes for preconception on what are these things that you should avoid that are going to affect quality of your sperm. What are these things that you should do that are going to encourage or boost quality and numbers of sperms? So it's not a routine that you are going to always do a sperm test, unless if a couple has been having challenges conceiving. Other than that, it's not a routine test that we do.
But why don't I check sperm count before you get married or before you conceive? Because you might get married, now we are stuck in this marriage. It's now 2 years later, and you're blaming me, the woman, for not conceiving. And you won't even go as a man to check with a doctor if your sperm count is okay. Men are very stubborn when it comes to going to the doctor for checking these productive things.
Generally, we are encouraging men to be part of the conception journey. There are those things that we are going to test for that are urgent. Others are going to come depending on circumstance. And semen analysis or sperm checks are those that come due to the circumstances that may come up. Otherwise, if we are worried about quality or carrying of certain genetic diseases, then we take history and we're also able to test the man. So that's why we say preconception is tailored. Otherwise, if someone is healthy, they are doing well, we don't see any history of that, we don't really dig deep into their semen analysis, unless if there are circumstances that may prompt us to go that direction. We stick to the basics most of the time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, that's Dr. Nsubuga from SICA educating us about preconception and the importances of preconception. We've had Mr. Gordon in studio telling us about male involvement in preconception and why men should go for checkups before conception and why it's important for men to be involved in preconception with their partners. I've enjoyed this journey. I hope you too have enjoyed this journey. And remember, this is Parenting Uncensored, brought to you by SICA IHK.